What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we now have ABC's Jimmy Kimmel surrounded by tons of controversy and legal trouble following his very distasteful mischaracterization of the Charlie Kirk tragedy just the other day, guys. And I'm excited to get to this one, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Well, this controversy has been brewing through the course of the week, and ABC decided to take action just as Jimmy Kimmel was getting ready for air. It's hard to make out, but that, we believe, is Jimmy Kimmel making a low-key exit after his late-night show was abruptly pulled yesterday, just as audience hopefuls were already lined up.
Now we're going to have to find something else to do at 11:35 every night.
It was all driven by Kimmel's take earlier this week on the death of political activist Charlie Kirk.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
That suggestion of a left-wing theory that the accused assassin, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, was a right-wing Trump supporter is not supported by the evidence gathered by investigators who have said Robinson's own family said otherwise. And it was enough to trigger a revolt from a large group of ABC stations around the country, leading the network to pull the plug.
Late night shows, something's gone seriously awry there.
FCC Chairman Brendan Carr had threatened to take action if something wasn't done.
I'm very glad to see that America's broadcasters are standing up to serve the interests of their community. We don't just have this progressive foie gras coming out from New York and Hollywood.
This is just despicable, disgusting, and against democratic values.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer blamed the Trump administration for an attack on free speech. The president, though, was thrilled, posting on Truth Social, "Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done." Now, ABC has not said at this point that Kimmel has been canceled, only that his show is off the air indefinitely. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Doug, thank you so much for that update. Take a look at your screen. This is the latest commentary from the commander-in-chief as he made this post on Truth Social. He says, quote, "Great news for America. The ratings-challenged Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done." He goes on to say, quote, "Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Stef, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC." He concludes by saying, quote, "President DJT," that's Donald J. Trump.
Hollywood stars reacted quickly to news Jimmy Kimmel Live was suspended, including Ben Stiller, who posted on X, "This isn't right," among others sharing their thoughts on social media. In a video, Wanda Sykes said she was supposed to be a guest with Kimmel. And speaking of President Trump, said he ended freedom of speech within his first year. Jamie Lee Curtis posted a Rolling Stone cover with Kimmel quoted as saying, "I don't think anybody should be canceled." Henry Winkler shared praise for Kimmel, saying his humor, his insights are important to keep showing us who we are, and he is a most wonderful fellow. Similarly, Christy Brinkley, along with a photo of several late-night hosts, noted the laughter they provide us is as important as the air we breathe. She added, "We must protect their and our First Amendment rights." Jean Smart wrote she's horrified at the cancellation, adding what Jimmy said was free speech, not hate speech, adding people seem to only want to protect free speech when it suits their agenda, while Mark Maron called the suspension government censorship and urged people to speak out, be peaceful, be urgent. NASCAR star Danica Patrick, however, had a headline of the cancellation on her Instagram story and wrote, "Human decency is coming back."
All right, folks. So as you may know by now, we're finally seeing Jimmy Kimmel's late night show being plucked from the airwaves. Meanwhile, we have leftists coming out screaming this is an infringement on free speech.
Congressman, I see you are wearing a hat. What does that hat say?
You're damn right I am, John. I was a guest on the Jimmy Kimmel show. He every night has a right to come into any house that wants to watch and entertain Americans, just as Greg Gutfeld on Fox has a right to be not funny and go on his network and entertain Americans. It's a part of who we are, John, and frankly, it should shake every American that the President of the United States is out there firing comedians who make fun of him. That is not who we are, and every American should care and stand up to this.
No, we're talking about comedy. This is so serious, Aaron. Yeah. America is a less free place if late night comedians cannot do and say what they want. Of course, they can be tuned out. People can change the channel. That's how we vote. That's how we have our say in America. But this really does have a chilling effect across the American media. And it's not just me saying it. We've heard from the group FIRE in the past few minutes, the free speech group FIRE, saying, quote, the government pressured ABC and ABC caved. Quote, we cannot be a country where late night talk show hosts serve at the pleasure of the president, but until institutions grow a backbone and learn to resist government pressure, that is the country we are. And just one more note, Aaron, I've heard from Brendan Carr in the past few minutes. He's very pleased about Nexstar deciding to preempt the show. He has not officially reacted to ABC's decision yet, but when I told him about ABC's decision to go ahead and basically, this is a cancellation unless the show ever comes back, he did send me a GIF. He sent me a celebratory meme as his reaction, Aaron.
All right, guys, and that was just a couple funny instances of these loonies on the left coming out and screaming, this is Trump's fault that Jimmy Kimmel is no longer on the airways. But I just want to take a minute to give you guys a brief reminder of all the folks that have been canceled by these individuals on the left, but yet now they're suddenly concerned with this one. So I stumbled across this very lovely list from our friend Benny Johnson here on X, saying these are the same libs who canceled Roseanne, Dave Chappelle, Kill Tony, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Shane Gillis, Gina Carano, Hulk Hogan, Russell Brand, Tim Allen, J.K. Rowling, Kid Rock, and many more. Not to mention they shot Trump and Charlie, but now they want us to feel bad for Jimmy Kimmel. Absolutely not. We cannot do it. I mean, the left is very hypocritical in nature if you guys have not noticed by now. I mean, just look at this response from MSNBC's Chris Hayes on Tucker Carlson's firing versus Kimmel's suspension. It's night and day. Just watch it.
ABC made the announcement that Kimmel would indeed be taken off the air indefinitely. And this is just the latest chapter in Donald Trump's ongoing campaign to crack down on free speech, dominate the media, and essentially render the First Amendment meaningless. So it was for the journeyman cable news host Tucker Carlson, just fired from his third network. He believed he could say anything, no matter how vile, no matter how disgusting, no matter how offensive, no matter how dehumanizing or belittling. And if you act like a sociopath over and over and over and over, you will become unpopular on the national stage. That's just like a basic principle. Over time, probably not going to work out well for you in the long run. Eventually, people will be rightly offended, disgusted by it.
So once again, we're seeing a selective outrage from these loonies on the left. They're coming out screaming and crying, hollering in the streets that Jimmy Kimmel's constitutional rights have been violated by the suspension. But yet, where was this energy at when it was Tucker Carlson and other figures of the right? I simply don't want to hear it. And you want to know who else doesn't want to hear it, doesn't have time for it? Our president, Donald Trump. He's now coming out debunking all of their false narratives that they're currently pushing.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else. And he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
President Donald Trump calling it straight down the center once again, where he says this has been a long time coming, something that should have happened a while ago. Absolute lack of talent, abysmal ratings is what played a key factor in the dismissal of Jimmy Kimmel, and that's why he's in the position that he's in right now. Now we have folks from both sides of the aisle coming out and slamming those false narratives that are being pushed around.
Jimmy Kimmel owes the family of Charlie Kirk and his wife Erika, 2 small children, an apology. What's he saying? That if you're a member of MAGA and Charlie is a friend of MAGA, then he had it coming. It just it's in some way it's very extremely insensitive. The country's in a very tough spot right now. Everyone's walking on eggshells. The First Amendment is not a license to incite hatred. And, I think that we can start the discussion. Once Jimmy Kimmel apologizes, Then they can talk about the business aspects and whether or not he gets back on the schedule and so forth. But there's got to be a recognition that a terrible thing has happened here and that millions of Americans are grievously hurt by what happened. There is Charlie Kirk was beloved by many, and to just tremble over it, he's not even buried yet, for goodness sake. And to make fun of the flags and half-staff and so forth, I just think that we've got to look at it with a notion that the country has to be healed, that we have to work to bring people together, that we need to respect each other. We don't have to agree, but we have to respect. And I think that the audience has deserted him for a good reason.
It's false advertising because honestly, I mean, look, Jimmy Kimmel can be funny, and I don't mean to take anything away from that. But the fact of the matter, can you remember a political joke that went viral, what was something really funny of his? There was no attempt in humor at all in what he said. And as a matter of fact, it was a lie. Now, as you pointed to, Will, since the 1960s, you have to get a license to broadcast. This isn't Netflix. This isn't cable. This is broadcast TV. And when you have broadcast TV, you have to, the airwaves are owned by the public. And to get that license, you have to be in the interest, like you said, of the public. And so that's why when there's a news van parked in the white zone, they don't get a ticket because they are there to present news to inform the public in the public interest. So what happens is 25% originally was supposed to be the news to inform it, just to get that license. So when you absolutely lie to the public, then you are no longer in the public interest, like Jimmy Kimmel did the other night. Right. Mislead and lie, and actually was something dangerous. So with the FCC chairman, he didn't say that he was going to pull the license. He was going to give them a warning and ask for an apology, if what I understood on the Benny Johnson show. And so that's not the government doing it. And when 246 different stations around the country say we're no longer airing this, it's because they heard from their consumers. They heard from their customers. And they said, that's it. We're not doing it. And so Nexstar, who's a great guy over there, Sean Compton, said that's it. He's the CEO and said when we have complaints like this and none of the channels, 246, because I'm sorry, it's not just LA and New York. There are people in between who have a real sense of decency and who realize that what you had here was you had someone who wanted to have conversations and debate. And for somebody who was gunned down for that. So while I don't want to ever celebrate somebody losing their TV show, I think the outrage over somebody losing their TV show should be dwarfed by the outrage over somebody losing their life over a decent, God-fearing, wonderful, lovely person trying to have conversations. So that's where my concern goes.
Great. Even in death, Charlie keeps winning debates. The media, this is what's disgusting. Just look at the reaction. The media is trying to make Jimmy Kimmel into their Charlie Kirk. But as if like getting fired is the same as getting fired upon. That's what disgusts me, is how they're trying. This is a blatant effort to get the stink off them. The decades of brainwash that created justification for violence and for murder. Sorry, guys, he's not a victim. The victim is Charlie Kirk. The victims are his family. I don't shed any tears for a lefty millionaire who can still go home and see his kids. So look at this through that prism. Jason Bateman predicts a reckoning over Kimmel's suspension. Sorry, dude, the reckoning began without you. Your side got thousands of conservatives thrown off social media. CNN tried to get Fox off the air. Do you remember that? Stelter, that don't say that. Stelter tried to get us off the air, and we're on a private airway. We're not in a public thing like ABC is. While they were doing this, they were promoting rhetoric that demonized people with different viewpoints. So there isn't a both sides here. You can't turn Kimmel into Kirk. That is disgusting, and I'm going to control myself. Let's look at the obvious here. You have to look at this like mutually assured destruction. Facebook was pressured by the president or the White House to throw people out. Trump was thrown off Twitter. You had Roseanne, Gina Carano, Dave Chappelle, Shane Gillis, J.K. Rowling. The list is endless. We could take a whole hour to do it. How do you stop that? mutually assured destruction, like what Trump is doing with lawfare. You hunted us, you hunted Republicans, you hunted conservatives. Well, maybe you won't hunt us anymore if we hunt you. And lastly, I am so tired of these self-centered fools on CNN and MSNBC with their performative outrage, because they will never, ever stand outside before thousands of people and debate people who don't like them. They are, like me, indoor cats. They used, was it S.E. Cupp used the phrase, systematically killing free speech? A young man was systematically killed over free speech last week. Kimmel has every right and every opportunity to do a live, free show outdoors. And so could all those people on CNN, but they don't. If they did, they probably wouldn't get shot because no one is demonizing them. No one is calling them Hitler. That was your gig.
Well, listen, my background is in the courts. I was a federal court litigator, literally defended free speech as a career for about 20 years, religious freedom and the freedom of speech and our fundamental rights. We have to jealously guard that, and I think we are. ABC is a private company. You've heard a lot of consternation about private companies firing or reprimanding employees for going online and glorifying the tragic death of a young father and young husband, and it's detestable. So in the private employer space, you have all the right in the world to have standards for your company, standards for your broadcast brand, and they get to make that decision. And I don't think that's a violation of the First Amendment. You don't have a First Amendment right to stay employed if you're going to engage in that kind of crazy action online. And in many cases, it really is inciting further violence. It's a serious problem.
And you guys, after all of this, we can clearly see the picture now. This is not a matter of a First Amendment issue. This is simply a public figure being held accountable by their boss for further pushing a very dangerous narrative. And guys, I want to end this one on a lighter note. Found some very positive updates here. Headline coming from our friend Eric Daugherty here on X, saying that after Jimmy Kimmel's suspension, Sinclair says his local ABC stations are now airing a Charlie Kirk remembrance on Friday during Jimmy Kimmel's time slot. What a class act. You'll love to see it. Also have Sinclair demanding that Jimmy Kimmel apologize directly to Erika Kirk and the Kirk's family, and also donate to Turning Point USA. This is what we love to see. Also have another major announcement coming from Turning Point USA. I want you guys to check this one out.
Since everything has happened, I think the number one question is what is going to happen with Turning Point? What is going to happen next? And I'm pleased to be able to announce with you, and I think it's appropriate because of who you are and who this person is, that the Turning Point board has unanimously selected Erika Kirk as the new CEO and chair of the board. And not only is that amazing in and of itself, but I can assure you, Megan, that Charlie told me personally, and he told others, he probably told Mikey, that if anything ever happened to him, that this is exactly what he wanted.
Wow. I have the chills. It had to be, right? I mean, I don't think anybody would accept a leader of the organization who they didn't feel completely understood Charlie and would be 100% dedicated to fulfilling his vision for where this group is going.
So some major news coming for Turning Point USA and its future, with Erika Kirk now being named the CEO of the company. And I don't know anyone better for the role but Erika Kirk, especially after the clips that I've seen and the way that Charlie and Erika interacted with each other. This is truly what he would have wanted.
My wife joins us, Erika Kirk,
Hi,
the beautiful,
everyone.
legendary Erika.
I love you so much.
I love you.
You're my best friend.
Welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show. We have asked the audience for questions. You pick one.
Who is more conservative and why?
Erika.
Yes.
By far. Not even close. I am a moderate compared to Erika.
Andrew always jokes that once you got married to me, you got more based.
That's true. That is true. No, Erika is very conservative. Do you think having kids made you more conservative?
100%. Which I didn't think was possible. But 100%. Absolutely.
And do you
And
think,
a better wife.
Wow, guys, I feel like I had to include that brief glimpse into who Erika Kirk is and how much Charlie means to her. You can see that she is up for the task. She is definitely the person to continue on furthering his legacy. And of course, all of this has the internet in a complete frenzy with Jimmy Kimmel's nonsense. And I want to check in a couple perspectives on what X users are saying. So let's check it out. First up, we got our friend Kate Hyde here on X tweeting out saying, pretty sure ABC was looking to pull Kimmel a long time ago. He just gave them a good reason to do so. And I mean, we've seen the way his ratings were just tanking, dropping. His audience was next to no one. This is definitely a great reason to get rid of him, give him the boot. And we also have our friend Cello here on X tweeting out saying Jimmy Kimmel needs to apologize to Erika Kirk. And I mean, I think that's the least that he could do to try to clean up this mess, but that's only the start. I would not be surprised to see him being faced with a lawsuit very soon. And we also have Riley Gaines here on X tweeting out saying Jimmy Kimmel showed zero sympathy for a husband and a father of 2 young kids who was politically targeted in cold blood. So forgive me if I can't muster up any sympathy when the network that's carried his show for 20 years decides to pull the plug. I mean, this guy showed no sympathy, no remorse for his actions. Actually, I think he doubled down. So I can't feel bad for a man that gets exactly what he deserves. And then finally, we have Real Defender here on X tweeting out saying if Jimmy Kimmel refuses to take back his statements and apologize to Erika Kirk for blaming MAGA for Charlie's death, she should sue him into oblivion. ABC needs to fire him immediately. And all I can say is any punishment that comes his way is well deserved. He's had ample time, ample opportunity to come out, apologize, take back or walk back the statements, but yet he is continue to double down and stand on what he said. So anything that comes to him is well deserved in my book. Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness, finally seeing unfunny Jimmy Kimmel show being canceled by ABC after a very dangerous narrative that he continued to push, mischaracterizing the marksman that came after Charlie Kirk as some MAGA affiliate. We all know that's not the case. These loonies on the left are doing everything they can to justify the tragedy of Charlie Kirk, but we're not going to have it. This right here crossed the line, and there is no point of return, especially if you're not big enough, you're not man enough to apologize or own up to the fact that you were wrong in the situation. I'm completely tired of, and it is about time someone is held accountable, held to it for their very dangerous narrative they continue to push day in and day out. They're not helping the situation whatsoever. Definitely going to continue to follow this situation. I wouldn't be surprised to see if there was legal action, a lawsuit filed on Jimmy Kimmel in the very near future, just by the way that he's, not willing to walk it back. He's not willing to apologize or be the bigger person in the situation. But guys, definitely hop in that comment section. Comments are open. I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one week.